Well, hello, boys and girls. Caleb from thebookflipper.com. It's about time we did a tracking spreadsheet update. We had a couple things in the works. Some of you were asking for ways to track alternative revenue sources, and Amazon decided to throw a wrench at us and change the format of their sales data tab. So if you've tried to run a report recently in the last week or so, or you get to December 1st if you run monthly like I do and run a report, you're going to be a little confused because the data on the sales data tab does not line up anymore. So we had to make a change. So Amazon, I don't want to thank you for doing this, but thanks, because it forced us to make a couple updates we've been meaning to do. So if you don't have the tracking spreadsheet, if you don't know what it is, this video is probably not for you. Still feel free to watch it. You can kick the tires, see what it's all about. The tracking spreadsheet is the only tool I use to manage the accounting for my Amazon business. All my inventory, my costs, my supplies, any labor that we do, it all runs through the tracking spreadsheet. We use Wave Apps for everything else. It's a free dual entry accounting system. If you guys want to nerd out about that, check it out. waveapps.com is pretty cool. You can pay for payroll or bookkeeping or other things, but their software is free. Not sure why, but it's wonderful. Let me show you how to convert the data, and then I'll actually take you through a little tour of version 2.5. So if you have version 2.4 or earlier and need to redo some stuff, let me show you how to get your data from your original tracking spreadsheet over to the new shiny version 2.5. It still looks like a spreadsheet. Sorry, can't do a whole lot about that. We did try and simplify a little bit of the stuff here. So anything that's green is where you insert data inputs. We got some charts over here that are different color coded as you're looking to look at your business. If you do consignment sales, a couple new ways to track that, and then some cool stuff with inventory health, and then of course the financial statements as well, just like you're used to. Again, this is a very full-featured accounting system, and let me run you through how to change the data over. If you ever have questions, you can always email me, caleb@thebookflipper.com. You can check out thebookflipper.com/track as well as thebookflipper.com/videos to see more in-depth stuff. I'll put these videos over there as well. Without further ado, here's how to change it. This is not my data for those of you trying to sniff around, figure out my account. Sorry, this won't help. It's someone else's. Maybe you can figure out whose it is. I did ask for permission to share this, but we won't share who it is. How's that? All right, so if you want to get your data, start with the listing data. Nothing changed here. I did add a couple new things. This person had a sneak peek at some new stuff we did if you want to see what's still in stock. If you're wondering what those cells are out here, they're also going to find their way into the new sheets. It's really important when you copy paste that you don't grab the entire rows. It's actually going to paste over some of the formulas if you do that, as well as don't grab the entire columns. We're going to grab cells only. This is the same thing that applies as you put data into the tracking spreadsheet. It's really important that you only grab the cells. A couple things that you can do to speed up the process of grabbing it all. One, you could just old school grab everything like this and scroll down, down, down and wait until it finishes. Or you can use keyboard shortcuts, Command on a Mac, Control on a Windows, and that'll take you all the way over. If you sync that up with Shift, and then Shift to get back, so Shift and arrow keys will do this, or Shift and click, either way. You can actually grab all the way over to the edges, and then Command Shift or Control Shift down arrow will grab everything, unless they're missing some data, like they are. There's a SKU that's missing. So we're gonna fix that. Let's assume it's that. Again, not my data, not as clean as I would like it, but I'm gonna guess that's right. So we're gonna go all the way over to the edge, Command Shift, Control Shift down. Looks like we got everything. We're going to copy that, Command C, Control C. We're going to paste it. Now when you paste it, it's really important if you have anything that got messed up in the past, you either want to do like a values only or a match destination formatting probably. That'll make sure the date formats and everything else stay the way it should. Then we do have some cool data over here. I'll show you how to sync that up in just a minute. So ignore that for now. All right, listing data is straightforward. Sales data where it gets sneaky. Amazon sneaked or did sneak, whatever tenses you want to use. They snuck a few other columns in here. It's related to taxes. They've made our job easier as sellers. FBA was kind of a gray area before. Should you be collecting in every state if you have nexus or physical presence, meaning your inventory is in a warehouse? Some CPA said yes, some said no, some said don't bother, some said anyway. We're not going to get into that. Talk to a CPA. Good news is most states are forcing Amazon's hand to do it, which makes our job much safer, less risky, and simpler, which is great. So there's a new column here, 4 new columns, tax collection model. I believe that's facilitator, or if you have it set up on your tax settings, you may want to change that. So if you're in a state that does marketplace facilitator taxes or tax collection now, you may want to talk to your CPA. Possibly you can remove your own collection and just let Amazon handle it. They are going to charge some fees for it, but it may be cheaper and easier and simpler. So again, talk to a CPA. These are the 4 new columns. What you're going to want to do is you're either going to want to do one of 2 things. One, you're going to want to add gaps here and match up the columns exactly. Or I built a nice converter file for those that go, hey, I don't want to figure this out. I'll show you both ways real quick. We're going to come over to sales data, Command Shift up to the top, Command Shift or Control Shift right arrow all the way down. This is all of our sales data now. We're going to copy this. We're going to paste it right into cell D1. Don't come over here. Don't grab columns. Don't grab rows. Paste it right into D1. What it's going to do then is we're going to click this magic button. It's going to run a macro, and I've got a lot of data in the background. That was really fast. That was really fast. Cool. Tried this earlier, and I had maybe too many documents open. But it added those columns in exactly the right spots for us. So now all we have to do is Control Shift over until we get to the edge of the data. If you go too far, no worries. Just hit the left arrow to come back. We're going to then copy this data. Again, Command or Control C, or you can right click and say copy. We're going to come back over here, make sure we're all the way over on the left. Paste your sales report data here, cell L4. Again, you can right click, say paste. You don't need the paste special here. It's all just regular data. Your data should now be in a good spot. Again, Amazon made this change mid-November, so anything earlier than October, we're good. We're not pushing cells way too far off the right. We didn't have that data before. If you don't want to use this conversion file, I'll make a Gumroad link. We'll put a link down below in the notes. If you want to grab this, it's free. If you want to throw a tip my way, I'll use it responsibly for golf or coffee or something cool. So I'll throw that down there. You can just grab it for free. Just put 0 when you check out, and they'll give you a free copy. If you want to do it yourself, we're going to make sure that the columns line up. So you can come to your existing sales report right after order sales. Sorry, right after, come on, baby, there we go. Right after order postal, they added a new column. So after order postal, we're going to grab column X or product sales, right click and say insert. It's going to add just a blank column. We're going to do the same thing every other column because we need an extra one after product sales. So we're going to do one here, go over another one, do it again, and one last time. We'll have 4 staggered new columns. If you want to do it this way without the conversion file, no problem. Shifts all the way up, and we're going to go over. Again, if you go too far, no big deal. Just come back, grab everything, Command Shift, Control Shift down arrow, copy it, and you can come back and paste it. We've already got it, so we won't do it twice. All right, so now you've got the data in the right format. You're going to get to take advantage of all these cool new features. If you want to get the rest of your data over, you can do that as well. You can come to disposals. Again, shift all the way up to the top, come all the way, all the way over to the edge, and all the way over to the very edge, all the way down. We've got that data. Put that in disposals. Anything that's green is something where you can input data. Again, we're getting data from any listing software. Listing Spreadsheet is free. You can use the Accelerlist has a native integration. ScanLister has a native integration. Simply export and paste into the tracking spreadsheet. What you're doing is you're getting your sources and your buy cost, which is really important when it comes to managing cost of goods sold, all of the tax and accounting type things that you have to do, the fun stuff that comes from running a business. So you can get it from those solutions. We've got a converter file from Inventory Lab. Basically, if you can list with it, you could probably get the data into the tracking spreadsheet. Disposals and removals. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in before I forget. Other revenue, those of you that sell back your book or other wholesalers, or you sell on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, or you're running a garage sale to get rid of your duds, you can put in that revenue here, and it's really simple. You could just put, 1119. Let's say you have 25 bucks from a garage sale, and you can use these cells or not use them. Really, the date and the amount are the important thing, but you want to have something to track. So you might say it came from, it's cash or something. So you can do that. I'll show you where that feeds through. We had a supplies tab before. We kind of just expanded it, supplies and expenses. So if you want to show something where you had, again, do not include cost of goods sold into this. Do not include inventory cost. That's not relevant. But we do want to include things like boxes or tape, or maybe if you bought new equipment or a label printer or software expenses or labor. Let's say you have paid a neighbor kid 50 bucks. to list books for you. Cool. I'll show you where that feeds through. And then mileage as well. A great app for this is Mile IQ. I'll put a link down below as well. But you can put the date, the miles driven, and it'll actually look at the year that you're in and throw you the value that you're able to deduct. So it's really important to track miles. It's a non-cash expense, meaning it doesn't cost you. Let's say it's 2019. Again, we're just doing really early dates. But let's say you drove 40 miles round trip to and from a library sale. I'm going to turn formulas back on momentarily. You can turn them on and off. If you have them on or automatic, every time you hit enter on the spreadsheet, it's going to try and calculate, so it's a little bit slower. You can leave it there and then just click calculate whenever you need to. You'll see the threads kind of run through. But it'll actually pull a value for us based on the mileage rate 2019, which is 58 cents a mile. When the 2020 rate comes out, you can plug that in here as well. But you see how slow it is depending on how much data there is. You can also just calculate the sheet. You don't need to calculate everything. But I like to, kind of a pro tip with spreadsheets, turn the calculation to off. So you can see we got $23 of value. It's not going to cost us that much to drive. Obviously gas and oil and wear and tear on the car theoretically get close. But if you have an efficient car or an electric car, you get some pretty cool benefits. So let's go ahead and run the macro. This will take a little bit, and we'll make sure everything else is good. So this is going to run the macro. It's going to run through everything, recalculate everything at the end. We added some error handling. My brother's super smart and helped with the macro. So we added some error handling. If you have some SKUs that are screwed up that caused your spreadsheet to crash in the past, that is a thing of the past. It'll actually alert you if you're missing a SKU, if it can't run something. If you happen to start a SKU in Excel or list with a minus sign and Excel now thinks it's a formula, this is a little bit smarter, so it's gonna help you with that. But while this is running, hopefully that gives you the information you need. If you guys just needed to upgrade and get your data over, you're all set. You can stop watching. I'll show you just a little bit more as it relates to some of the new features here once our handy macro finishes running. Again, if you've done consignment sales, don't forget to copy that data over into the new tracking spreadsheet. And again, depending on how much memory you have and how many items you've listed, this can take a little bit of time to complete. And of course, I'm trying to record this live, which is asking for trouble. So we'll just give that just another moment. Again, what we've done here, the 3 sources of data, whatever you're listing with, it's really important to get the source and the buy cost. Everything else is just kind of gravy on top as far as sales rank or the inbound shipping. Amazon already tracks that, but if you want to assign it to a individual source, that's great. Sales data is from Amazon, that's super easy. Disposals is a one report you pull from Amazon, again, super easy. Other revenue, if you want to use it, if not, no big deal, but several of you were asking, so we listened. I think our macro's done, yes. Supplies and then mileage. So what this does then, it's going to spit out some pretty cool charts so you can see how your business has done over the last couple of years. If you've got more than 1 year of data, you can see your average selling price, get some cool stats on how many items you've listed versus what you've sold. Are you growing the business, or is it shrinking? Is your total inventory going up or down? Obviously, textbook season shrinks your inventory, which is great. It means you're selling a lot. Turn rate, if you have accurate numbers, I don't know that they necessarily do. Those are really good turn rates, but possibly. Cash flow, again, the lifeblood of your business. So that's a nice sales dashboard monthly. You can get some weekly data. You can see 1 year versus another year here. You get a source dashboard. So if you want to look at any of your sources, this is pretty cool. You can kind of dive in. There's a drop-down menu that'll let you pick. I don't know. Let's just pick some dates. Again, this isn't my data. But and then you're going to want to calculate the sheet. So what it'll do, looks like this is from 2018. There wasn't much. Let's find a better one. Yeah, sometimes that'll take just a bit to catch up with everything. There we go. I have no idea what these sources are. We're just going to pick another random one. Let's see what happens here. It'll tell you when it thinks you should create the start date. And again, there's lots of videos at thebookflipper.com. Don't forget to calculate the sheet if you've turned those on or off. This was a more recent source. There we go. There's some sales. So what it'll do is you can set this to go back. It's going to say recommended start date. The first date it saw inventory coming in is October of 19, although we are seeing sales prior, so there must be multiple McKay's sources. But what you can do if you want to see the last 12 months, just set this to be, let's say November of 2018, and then hit calculate sheet. So run all the numbers for us. You can see how many total sales you've had to date. You can squeeze the date range if you want to look at one specific month, or you can look at a year. But it'll show you kind of how you're doing, what your sales are each month, average selling price, how many items you've listed. So this one's going way back. There's probably items in inventory prior to that. Again, the same metrics, but for individual sources, gives you a good feel. Are you making money? How much inventory have you sold? What's your ROI on what's sold? And again, what's your cash flow? Got some source metrics at an overall glance. If you want to see these, you can right click any of these and sort high to low. So you want to see your biggest source, you could do that. Sort large to small. It'll give you no listing. If you didn't have anything showing in the tracking spreadsheet, it's not there. And then you can see your biggest sources, so on and so forth. Monthly metrics, again, I won't get into all this. I want to show you some of the newer stuff. Inbound shipping is pretty cool. So if you have a source that sends you inventory, let's say you sell on consignment, and let's match some of their consignment. Make sure you got to copy this stuff over, assuming they used it. Wait for it. There it is. Okay, again, we're going to grab all the way to the top. Anything that's green is kind of where you could have entered things. So we're going to copy all of this. We're going to paste it into consignment sales. So we're back up and at a level. We're going to value or match destination formatting just in case anything's funky. Then everything in the middle stays the same, so you can leave all that alone. We want to come over here to all of the payments, and we're going to copy paste these. Make sure we got everything. There we go. Almost. A lot of payments. Okay, so we come all the way down here. Doesn't really matter. Copy that, and we're going to paste that over here. That way everything gets transferred. Again, we're going to match destination formatting just in case something got wonky. Now, what we can do here is when we run this again, we're going to say calculate sheet only. It's going to pull all these sources and show everything here as far as what you're paying them. And let me show you one that's working and where this comes into play. Let's say you work with a library on the other side of the country. You want to set up a consignment deal. So you set up like Scout IQ hidden mode. They can scan for you. If it turns green, throw it in a box. You're going to pay for shipping. What we're going to do here, let's find one that's got a fair amount of inventory. Happens maybe, let's do Brentwood LS. How's that? So what you can do here, if you have inbound shipping, you're going to do, let's say you paid them, let's say mid-October. Let's say you did, what was that? You can just copy it if we want. Paste, and we'll match destination. What you're going to do is put the source and the shipping cost. Let's say it costs you $15.50 to ship a box of books across the country. You can throw that here. It's not cost of goods. It's simply you're going to write that off because that's a cost of getting the inventory to you. Maybe you could put it into cost of goods, but I'd rather expense it if you can. Again, talk to a CPA. Hit calculate sheet. It's going to tell you if that source is in your sheet or not. In this case, it's telling us that it's not. So we're going to go ahead and calculate now, run all of the macros and make sure that we're good. If this says you broke it, that means you haven't listed anything from the source before. You need to add it to the consignment sales. My guess is because we didn't run all the formulas, it missed it. So wait for this to go to 99. But again, what this is useful for is if you have any extra costs outside of inventory, so you're paying for shipping, this is a way to attribute it to a source. So for those of you that use like restrictedinventory.com, or I think Reezy's doing one as well, it's going to be kind of a way to get into it. Let me make sure. It should have been working. I'll make sure this is working before we push this live. It should tell you if you have anything listed. It is looking at consignment sales, G to H. Hang on a second. It's looking there because we're one sheet off. So we're going to go F to G. Sorry about this, guys. F to H won't hurt. There we go. Okay, so we'll carry that down. You guys get to see the inner workings of the spreadsheet. I'll carry that down again later. Calculate the sheet. They should all go away. Ta-da! Cool. So when you put a source in, it'll just let you know. So again, this is great as you add new sources. It'll let you know, hey, they're not in your consignment. You haven't tracked them yet. So now we've got that cost here. Let's show you what that looks like then on a commission dashboard. We can do one of two things. We can grab the drop-down menu, which was going to be a lot of sources. So we're going to skip that. And if my memory served me better, we could remember it. Brentwood LS. Again, we can copy-paste this. No big deal. Paste that into here. What this is going to do now is we're going to hit Enter, calculate sheet. It's going to pull in the percentage. Never touch these up here. It'll pull it in from the sheet. shows that we started back in January with them. And you can see now that inbound shipping is all here. Inventory costs plus prep is going to be here. So this is all factored in now as far as what that's doing. And so that shipping cost will find its way here. It may not have into this one particularly. Looks like we have, yeah, we do. So we've got inbound shipping. It's pulling that cost in. Just to double check, let's set this back to 0. Come back here to the dashboard, calculate the sheet. This number should go down about 15 bucks, so $214.50. Yeah, baby. All right, so this is a great way to slide in extra costs. If you have prep costs associated, let's say you bill back a client for labor, whatever you're doing, if it's 20 bucks, you can slide those numbers in here if you need to get extra numbers attributed to a source. This should go back up to $234.50. Ta-da. What you can do now, we've got all the metrics down here. And again, if you want to see the last 12 months, you want to go back to, it's November of 19 right now. We're going to do November of 18. Just like that, recalculate the sheet, and we'll have exactly 12 months down here for the OCD folks among us. I empathize, I understand. So here's all the metrics. Looks like somebody listed 100 books back in January. That's been it. If you want to generate reports now, this is pretty cool. You can click select all data. Make sure the page layout, sometimes it gets a little funky. You can change it to portrait and then back to landscape, and it should be tightened up for us. If not, you can slide stuff over just a little bit. There we go. So we're lined up now. Probably want to get just a little bit more. And wait for it. Wait for it. All right. So we're good. I'll tighten this up so it's nice, but this will actually give us a really good setup. I think I just need to change the margins probably to like narrow. Again, I'll adjust this before we push it out, but this allows you essentially to pick all of these reports. You can come up to File, Save As, and you can actually set that as a PDF. We've got videos at thebookflipper.com/videos that show how to do that. Let me show you inventory health report, and then I'll kick you back out. Again, I don't want to make this an hour-long video on spreadsheets. You guys would kill me. You guys want to grab the inventory health report. There's a link right here if you just want to plug this in, but it's under Seller Central under Fulfillment. I've already got an older version from this particular user. This is the only time you want to grab all of the data. We want to replace everything that's in here. Go ahead and paste that. And then what we've done is, and I'm going to have to do this real quick. Let me run everything. What we've done now is this is a way to show what inventory is still in stock. So many of you get that question from consignment clients. What's still in stock? This now does it. This is everything that's currently in stock. You can run these numbers. They're usually 2 or 3 days old, but you can run a new report every day from Amazon. This is going to show you exactly what's in stock, match it to the source, and then spit out some really cool data. So let me show you what that does. First up, we have an inventory analysis. You can see how old your inventory is. You can look across categories like book or DVD or anything else. Again, click calculate to show that. You can see what your sales rank analysis is across a broad range of categories. You can see your average prime price, assuming you're prime, the average FBA price of the lowest competitive people. So maybe this person's within range, about 10% higher, and the lowest merchant fulfilled prices, and then long-term storage fees, almost non-existent. Still in stock, let me show you inventory health valuation first. So this is everybody we still have, and we're missing a slicer. Let me add that in. We're going to add in stock as a filter, and what we're going to do is we're going to filter out anything that's 0. And I think we need to run everything still. Apologize, guys. What this is going to do is show us everybody that's still in stock. Don't know why it's not doing it. So this should match up. This user has 4,300 still in stock. It gives you current list price, everything else. Come on. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this data. Let's refresh it. Somehow it's not liking us. So we'll adjust this before we push it out. Again, apologize, guys. That should have worked. But anyway, this will give us a good idea of what's in there. There we go. Let's get rid of zeros. Perfect. So here's all of the sources. If you want to, again, sort by high to low, you can right-click anywhere in any of these columns. So if we want to see what's our biggest source with total list price, You can see that. You can see buy cost that's still in stock. So here's a source that has $21,000 of list price still in stock, average price 90 bucks, 230 units, 240, really good. Total buy cost is amazing. So whoever did this is loving life. You can scroll all the way down and get some cool inventory valuation. So here's the total list price, average list price, total units, and the total buy cost. So again, can't beat the margins when it comes to books. And then from an still in stock, if you want to look at any individual user, you can do that here. So let's say we wanted to see what was still in stock. Let's go back to our original person here. Let's say we wanted to see what's still in stock for an individual user like Brentwood LS. We're going to do that here once our spreadsheet decides to wake up. And I do apologize for the trying to change some of this stuff on the fly. Was up late last night trying to get this since Amazon threw a wrench into things. So we're going to unselect all. We're going to select Brentwood in this case. What it's going to do is show you every date you listed anything. If you want to tighten it up, you have to redo this every time. You can right align it. Here's every date that an item was listed. These are the items that are still in stock. Although a lot of these have sold. I'm going to refresh this. There we go. So here's all the items that are still in stock. And again, we can add a slicer here as well. And we can X out anything that's sold. So if you want to give somebody a report of what they still have in inventory, here it is. Here's the ASIN. They can look it up. Here's the SKU if that matters to them. Here's their list price and the total list price if they have more than one unit in there as well. So we'll include quantity as well. You guys can see how spreadsheets work. There it is. And we'll do sum of in stock. Cool. So there they go. They're all individual units, 20 items. You can generate these reports, take a screenshot. You can literally do this and export as a PDF, whatever works well for you. And if you don't like some of these columns, you can move them out of here as well. Pivot tables are amazing. So that's some of the new stuff. Again, sorry for the fumbling around on a live video, but it is what it is. You've got the income statement if you want to see what you're making. Let me prove that the other revenue is sliding through. So we added $25. That's now here. And the expenses and mileage, if you included any of those, will show up down here. So you get a really cool idea. If you need to do sales tax reporting, you can see what's been collected in each state for you, what your total sales are minus refunds, net sales. If you want to do that, you can get a feel for what's there. And then if you sell out of the country as well, you can see, $9 grand is not a bad day to sell out of the country. So anyway, check out some of these things. Hopefully it's helpful. And again, 2.5, we'll be emailing that out and you can watch these videos. Thanks for dealing with a little bit of clumsiness, and I hope you enjoy the new spreadsheet. Thanks for watching.